My parents demanded that my husband and I hand over our honeymoon because they funded the wedding. When we refused, they kept pushing for a refund. I planned to deal with it after the trip, but at check-in, we found both our flights and room had been switched, with extra charges hitting my card. The resort's loss prevention team sent the check-in ID scan, and that was the last straw. It's funny how the best day of your life can be the starting point for the absolute worst. My name's Audrey. One moment I was dancing with my new husband, Liam, under a canopy of fairy lights, surrounded by everyone we loved. The air smelled of roses and champagne, and for the first time the future felt like this vast, shimmering, beautiful thing. Liam and I weren't kids anymore. I was 28, he was 30, and we had built our lives carefully. That wedding, that perfect magical day, felt like the culmination of everything we had worked for. A significant part of that magic, I thought, was thanks to my parents. They had sat us down 6 months before the wedding, beaming. "We want you to have the perfect start," my mom had said, her eyes glistening. She slid an envelope across the table. Inside was a check for $15,000. Liam and I were floored. We had been saving, planning a much more modest affair, but this changed everything. It meant we could have the string quartet I'd dreamed of. The caterer everyone raved about, the venue that looked like it was ripped from a storybook. "This is your wedding gift from us," my dad had declared, puffing out his chest in that way he did when he was proud. "No strings attached, just make it a day to remember." I knew it. And we did. We were so grateful. We hugged them, cried a little, and accepted their incredibly generous gift. Throughout the planning, the phrase wedding gift was used constantly. Not loan, not investment, a gift. It was a foundation, they said, for our new life together. Our honeymoon, however, was entirely our own creation. That was our sacred space, the reward we gave ourselves after years of hard work and saving. While my parents' money was elevating the wedding, every spare dollar Liam and I earned went into a separate account labeled Paradise. For 2 years, we'd skipped expensive dinners, passed on weekend trips, and worn our old coats for another winter. The destination was a closely guarded secret, a dream we whispered about late at night, a secluded overwater villa in the Maldives. We booked the best package we could find, business class flights, all-inclusive luxury, a private chef experience. It cost a fortune, our fortune, and it had nothing to do with the wedding gift. In our minds, they were two completely separate things. That fundamental misunderstanding, it turns out, was a ticking time bomb. The bomb went off 1 week before our scheduled departure, over a plate of my mom's dry pot roast. My parents had invited us over for a post-wedding pre-honeymoon dinner. The vibe felt off from the moment we walked in. We spent the first hour making awkward small talk, showing them photos from the wedding photographer on Liam's phone. "Oh, that's a lovely one," my mom said, peering at a photo. "You can really see how much that venue cost. Worth every penny of our money." I felt a prickle of annoyance but let it slide. They had been dropping comments like this more frequently since the wedding, casually reminding everyone, especially on social media, that they had funded the entire event. Speaking of expensive, my dad chimed in, "Karen was just showing me the website for that resort you two are going to. The Maldives, right? Looks incredible." "It is," I said, my excitement bubbling up again.